go on at 8 o'clock, but I thought, do you know what? Some people might not be up at this time. There are a number of things I want to talk about. Is my Wi-Fi on? Yeah, it's connected to the Wi-Fi. So last time I tried to do a video, it wasn't happening. The signal was bad. That was yesterday, I think. It was terrible. So I just lost my shit, and I was like, okay, we will do it on actual Monday. So yeah, let me blow my nose. Stuffy up my nostrils. So firstly, I would like, let's get this shared out firstly. Let's get this all shared out. I've got 40%, so that's alright on my tablets, my channel. Who shall we send my live to? Also, don't forget to come and drop us a comment. Yes, I am live on, I was going to say Facebook. Fuck's sake, look at them crackheads. Chav mum and kids. Always causing a racket. Absolutely causing a racket all the bloody time. So yeah, so first of all, we will be talking about friendships and relationships. Happy Valentine's Day. I thought it is very fitting for the time of year. You know, happy Valentine's. Happy Valentine's to everyone. Let's turn this down so I don't get in trouble with YouTube. So first of all, I'd like to talk about friendships. My friendships weren't really, well, I don't know, was it a thing, was it not? Let's start from primary school. So, from primary school, I don't really remember much apart from the last 2 years of my primary school. What I do remember is that I had one friend in year 5. He introduced me to Pokemon, and to this day I am still absolutely obsessed with Pokemon, but not so much as I was. Yeah, so he introduced me to Pokemon. I'm going a bit off topic here. And I assumed that he was neurotypical. And Our friendship lasted up until 2004. And then obviously, when you leave year six, you go into secondary school. And that, I remember thinking to myself, oh my God, I do not want to be like my father. Now, I've always said in the previous videos, I think he is autistic. I think he does have his little funny ways and quirks. So the progression into secondary school, from what I can remember, I was just the class clown for the first year, I think. And I was hyperactive, which apparently I read somewhere. It was like a masking strategy, the hyperactiveness of autism. Well, it's actually part of autism itself. But don't quote me on that. I will look into that. Progression into secondary school, and I was a bit anxious. Yeah, I was a bit anxious about going into secondary school. Like, will I make friends from the start, from the get-go? And there was probably about 5 friends I had at the start. But then they kind of like shoved me out. And then I had 2 other friends, do you know what I mean? So I had another group of friends, and they were my friends up until about my early 20s, between 18 and 20. So yeah, and then I kind of like went through friends. I couldn't really maintain the friendship with other people like I did with these 2 other lads, which was quite hard, do you know what I mean? Because I'd build up my trust with these people, and they'd either get like the new formed friendships after the 2 lads that I've known. Anyway, they'll get buzzed, and it was just like, what's wrong with me? Do you know, why can't I have a friendship? Relationships were hard as well. Relationships, I know, I briefly touched on this before. When I was 17, I had my first girlfriend. I suspected that she was cheating on me. One of my friends took my phone and said, look, it's over, because I confided in him. And yeah, that was rough. That was rough. I ran away. I just acted out so much. I was a nightmare. I literally was a demon child. That was rough. I also went to Ireland. My uncle, he lives in Ireland. He has kids, 2 here and 4 out in Ireland. He's settled, he's married out there. Yeah, and I found it difficult. I mean, even that relationship, I didn't really know him. I knew of him up until I was 13, and then I met him for the second time in my life at that stage, when I was 13, and then I met him again at 15. I went out in Ireland, and then I went again to Ireland at 17. So yeah, touch up upon masking. I've already done that. Touched up on masking. I think I might have to do a whole video on masking, because I feel like I've been kind of talking about it, but not explaining it very well. Masking is a it's a coping mechanism to fit in to a social environment. And to, just trying to blend in. And obviously, I must have been doing it since I was very young, from school up into adult life, and it's very, very hard for me to break. I'm on this journey of self discovery, and I'm trying to stop masking, stop trying to put a brave face on, and tell people when I'm overwhelmed or finding it hard to cope. I think communication is important, but in my case, I cannot. I feel like cannot communicate as well as others. Doesn't matter whether you're neurotypical or autistic people, because I know a lot of autistic people who can communicate well, but their strengths and weaknesses are different on how they cope. So I think I've touched upon that a little bit more. Oh, I didn't want to do that. So I kind of loosely touched upon talking about friendships in college. But I mean, college was funny, really. My first year, I was just everywhere. I was just like, wow. I was like a little puppy. New things, and I was just like running around, hyperactive again, going back to masking, and I was just hyperactive. I was just unstoppable, running around like a loose cannon. But I kind of channeled my energy into basketball. It was my stepfather, his friend was a lecturer at college, and he was a basketball coach at North West Kent College, and they knew each other, but my coach didn't know that I was my stepdad's stepson. So yeah, that like strange how that it's a small world, really. Also, I used to work at a youth club in that same year, and I was still like hyperactive, full of energy. Funny thing is, my neighbour's brother sometimes stays, and I I I bumped into him 2 years ago, and I'm thinking, no, that's not him, the guy who I worked with at the youth club. And we was talking about our boss at the time, and I told him about what I'm going to say. And I when I worked in the youth club, and I said, "Oh, do you remember Nigel?" I was thinking the other day, he actually suggested, Nigel, my boss of the youth club, and he suggested that I could either have ADHD or autism, and he would write a supporting letter. And that's just strange how he wasn't a healthcare professional, but he worked with children, and he could see the signs of me being autistic or ADHD. And we all know that at the end of it, So I'm autistic. So yeah, it was really strange how it was suggested all them years ago, and I've only got tested when I was 31 at the time. Um, so yeah, and then second year, that was when I had my first girlfriend, left college, and obviously I just told you that I couldn't cope with everything, on the breakup and that. Third year, and that was rough. My third year in college, even though I studied hard and understood the subject, um, friendships it was strong. The little group we was in, it was really, really tight. We were so close. We were so close. But then towards the end, it just kind of fizzled out, and I probably talked to three people out of that college class of my last year. You know, I just wish that that was my favourite year because we were so close. We helped each other. Do you know what I mean? We struggled together. We triumphed together. It was amazing, but life has a funny way of intervening. Talk about friendships at pubs and behaviour in social environments and how I wanted to be cool and impress everyone. I think this is a masking video. I really do think this is a masking video. Right, so, you know, I went, I like to latch on to a person, male, female, when I was in my early 20s. And I tried to fit in so bad. And I just wanted to be cool. I just wanted to. I felt that I was different, but I didn't want to stand out. I mean, I think it went at that time. I was 23, trying to fit in, trying to be cool. Got me in a lot of trouble with the wrong people, with drugs and this and that. Um, you know, that could have been avoided if I got diagnosed younger with coping strategies and this and that. But you know, that was I don't speak to anyone anymore from the pub. They normally it's sad really because they'll see me in town and they're like and walk a different way. It's really sad really. Touch on upon Autistic Week that happens on the 28th of March, UK. So, I don't know if anyone on Facebook has seen my recent status. My recent status says, so, Autism Week is fast approaching and it's been on my mind for a while. In a way, I am conflicted within myself to support this week for autism, as I believe autism is 365 days a year. But a part of me thinks at least there is awareness. As I come to terms with my late diagnosis of autism, I still find that even though more and more people are getting diagnosed later in life, from what I've been reading from various groups I am in, I feel a certain percentage of these people are undiagnosed with autism as they have to raise funds for their assessment. In my story, I was lucky to get funding from the NHS. I just want to gently remind people that there are autistic folks who haven't, oh, so much gas, fuck's sake, who haven't been diagnosed and trying to raise funds for their assessments to ensure they get the correct help after the official diagnosis. So when you raise awareness for folks who have official diagnoses, oh, that's a fucking long word, isn't it? Whether it's late or not, spare a thought for that person who is trying so hard to fight and raise money for their assessment. Well, yeah, that's cool. We get a week. But that's not really going to help that person, is it, really? Who knows they've got autism. They've been rejected for funding. So they have to find out how they're gonna gain funding to the clinics. I mean, in my story, rang up my GP, and he was like, yeah, okay, we can do that. Then it got funded, and it went to a private company called Piscon. It's one of those funny words that start with PSI. No, PSI, PSCION. Yeah. It got sent out to there, and that's how I got my diagnosis. But a lot of, from what I'm hearing, it's not even getting funded. It's a low funding thing, there, and it's a shame really, because there are a lot of people who are going undiagnosed or misdiagnosed. Do you know what I mean? And that's quite scary. And it's shocking really, We're supposed to have a great healthcare system in this country. My grandfather came over in 75, studied to 76, went back and then came back to England in that same year to work within our fine healthcare system, and to see, I'm not sure if he is aware of that. He probably is, because he ain't stupid. It really is a shame, really, that he works for that and there's no give back. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, it's just nuts, really. It's just, I don't know. It is what it is. I am thinking about doing a charity for my birthday for Facebook. I want to do a charity for my birthday. On Facebook you get, do this charity for your birthday. So I might do that, actually. That'd be quite cool. For autism. That's what I'm thinking of anyway. I'm thinking about doing that because, you know, like I said before, I was quite lucky to get funding for my assessment and sail through it and be diagnosed. There's so many people that I'm not. I'm not diagnosed with it, but they have it. So I was going to talk about gaslighting, but I think, sorry, yawning. I think it's gone on far enough. So yeah, I think I'm going to leave that there. I don't know when I'm going to be doing another one. I hope you enjoyed this video. Share it out, and we'll see you all soon. Have a great week and stay safe, stay sane, and yes, I shall do another one soon. Take care, be safe.